The Great Light. Book 1. Written and illustrated by Harriers. Chapter 3. Pinepaw stretched and yawned as she entered camp. A dull pain made her neck ache, and she was heavy with exhaustion, ready to sleep for a moon. The squirrel she carried was plump and heavy, fattened by Greenleaf's rich offerings, and she sighed in relief when she dropped it on the fresh kill pile. Pride warmed her heart as she saw Campiontail give her a small nod. That squirrel had taken her ages to catch. First she had lost it, and then she had to chase it all the way through the cliffs to catch it.
At least I managed something.
White Speckle's got her eye on your squirrel.
Dandelion Paw mewed as she groomed her fur. Her pelt was coated in a thick layer of dust and sand, her tail matted with leaves. Pinepaw smelt the fresh scents of Training Hollow, and jealousy bubbled up inside her.
She should.
She gave a hiss as she slumped down to sit beside her, near the rocks.
It took me forever to catch the stupid creature.
Huffing, Pinepaw collapsed onto her belly and stretched out her hind legs. There was a dull ache beginning in her hips, and her paw pads were scraped raw. Hunting on the cliffs was tough. It was prey-poor and full of danger. Snakes and hawks and hidden drops. Campiontail had refused to let them hunt in the forest. At least she had let Pinepaw go hunting. After several sunrises of cleaning dens and helping out Ozelhart fix bramble barriers around the camp, she was going stir-crazy.
Chickpaw and Orchid Paw did an assessment today. Chestnut Spike had no idea how good they were. He got scratched up so bad.
Yeah?
Pinepaw sniffed, uninterested. She curled her tail up against her. She could have been doing her assessments, not hunting for the entire clan. She put her paws on her chin and sighed with exhaustion. Hunting drained her. Waiting for her assessments drained her. She felt fidgety. A breeze blew through camp, rustling the yew tree's branches and sending ripples across the pool. The clan was quiet, basking in the dusk. Fading sunlight turned the sky a brilliant violet blue, and pale orange clouds dotted the sky. Birds chirped, faint songs in the distance. There was another sound, too. Pinepaw sat up and pricked her ears, trying to pick it out. Paw steps thrummed the ground, frantic and hard. Flaxstripe burst through the bramble tunnel, his fur spiked.
Cranestar!
He yelled as he sprinted into camp, crashing through the stream and leaping up the rocks by the pool.
WoodClan have killed a rabbit on our land.
He paced the rocks nervously, water dripping down his legs. His tail lashed. Fear scent laced the air. Shellspine swiveled her head around, eyes blazing, her fur rippled with outrage.
That's the second time this half moon. You have to do something.
She snapped, glaring at the deputy as she sat at the entrance to Cranestar's den. Kiteheart's eyes narrowed. Her tail tip twitched once and then lay very still. Close behind, Campiontail skidded into camp with Slight Cloud on her heels. The two warriors looked uneasy, their eyes wide, flanks heaving as they fought for breath.
There is blood everywhere. They're clearly sending a message. Prey stealers!
Teaselstalk shouted. He was crouched under the yew tree, his body tense, eyes flashing with malice.
We should teach them a lesson.
A few of the warriors yowled in agreement. Then the yowling died down, and the forest fell silent as Cranestar padded from her den. An old, skinny Molly, with white fur and a long, feathery black tail, appeared like mist, ghostly and pale. Her eyes were gray and stern, chips of flint set in a worn, narrow face.
I thought Sunstar would have learnt his lesson about messing with our borders.
She rasped, finally. Her claws glinted and scraped against the rock as she climbed down to stand in the center of camp. Kiteheart was close behind her, her dappled brown and cream pelt blending into the rock wall.
Blackstripe, you will come to my den and report everything you saw. Everyone else, be extra alert when you patrol the border.
They're not going to challenge WoodClan over this.
I'll organize an extra border patrol.
Kiteheart announced, her ears pricked, body tense with anger.
Step up training.
Her gaze swept around the clan until it landed on her kits. Baypaw, Chickpaw, and Orchid Paw.
If anyone catches WoodClan across the border, claw 'em.
Do not provoke WoodClan. Not yet.
She mewed carefully, glancing at her deputy.
Clan dismissed.
The old Molly began to pad away, hauling herself back up the rocks and skirting the pool to head back to her den. As she crossed camp, she leaned close to her deputy and Pinepaw pricked her ears.
That is my decision, Kiteheart. The clan is dismissed for now.
With a single sweep of her tail, the clan was silenced, and the birds began to chatter again. The deputy said nothing, only flicked her tail and glowered.
I have fought WoodClan since before you were born. I know how to handle them.
Kiteheart's nostrils flared, and Pinepaw turned to look away before she could catch her staring. Something about the glance between them made her skin crawl.
Do you think there will be a battle?
Orchid Paw whispered beside Pinepaw. She glanced down at the apprentice, who shivered in fear. Pinepaw felt Dandelion Paw tense beside her. Her green eyes flashed with worry.
Maybe.
Pinepaw answered back.
Why are they so scared?
Fighting WoodClan for control of the prey-rich forest was part of every Creek Clan cat's life. Every kit, apprentice, and warrior knew that.
We trained for it, though, so we'll be ready.
She added.
A battle with WoodClan.
She shivered as thoughts crept into her mind. She remembered the stories that Oakbark had told her. Brave warriors facing off beneath the shining moon, battling for territory, for the clan, for honor. The old brown Tom had shown the scars and marks along his pelt, describing each one with a voice that ached with pride and memory. Pinepaw glanced at her own pelt, thick fur unmarked and unwashed. She looked like a hurried apprentice, not a gallant warrior. She began to quickly lick her fur down into place as the clan began to stir and chatter again. The thoughts of battle kept making her dizzy. Restlessness made her legs twitch.
Hopefully Prey will start running for them again soon, and they can start bothering us.
The pale Tom was chewing thoughtfully on Pinepaw's squirrel, sprawled out on a rock. Nearby, the queens, White Speckle and Mallowshine, had a vole between them.
He should have shared that.
Pinepaw thought with a growl as she glanced at the fresh kill pile.
There's barely enough for us all again.
She glanced around the clan, and the energy in the air made her heart race. She had to get out.
We can't let them think they can walk the whole forest without punishment. We should attack the next patrol that dares cross our land.
Shellspine's tail lashed in the air as she spoke, her eyes flashing with fury. Several of the warriors were gathered around her, fur bristling, tails twitching beside her. Slight Cloud gave a nod.
They'll keep crossing if we keep showing weakness like this.
A dark red Tom twisted his head to glance over his shoulder at the thin tabby.
Weakness? It isn't weakness to not rush into battle. We need to be prepared.
We are prepared, Chestnut Spike. Do you doubt their skills of warriors?
Pinepaw glanced up from grooming to look at all the warriors.
There is no harm in waiting to see what WoodClan will do. They might be pushing us to attack, leading us into a trap.
You assume WoodClan has the intelligence to think like that. They're adults. They only think with their claws.
She flashed a paw through the air, claws glinting, and then settled them both in front of her, waiting for a reply.
We're still recovering from Leaf Bear. Look around you, Shellspine. Hardly enough muscle to take on a mouse.
How dare you!
Listen, both of you sit down.
A deeper voice cut through their bickering, and Goatfur pushed himself between them. Shellspine sat down with a thunk, baring her teeth before suddenly licking a paw, calm again.
Cranestar will decide what to do about the trespassers.
He mewed, and then shouldered his way into the warrior's den, vanishing into the shadows between the rocks.
I wonder if they were the same cats I saw.
Pinepaw thought, as she watched Shellspine sulking off and Chestnut Spike beginning to hastily lick his chest fur.
What makes a dead rabbit a message?
She wondered. She tried to imagine it. Did they leave a trail of rabbits from the birches to the border? Only one thought sprung to mind.
Wasting prey like that is against the warrior code. WoodClan are all heathens if they did that.
Have you drifted off?
Cambion Tail placed her paw over Pinepaw's tail, and the apprentice jolted in surprise.
Sorry, Campion Tail.
All this WoodClan talk must be making you excitable, huh?
Yes, Campion Tail.
Yes, Campion Tail. Sorry, Campion Tail. You've gotten serious all of a sudden.
Her mentor joked, and nudged her shoulder with a paw.
I thought I was still being punished. I'm on my best behavior today.
I'll be the judge of that. Now go clean out the nursery and check on the elders.
Oh, I was gonna go hunting for the queens again.
Campion Tail squinted.
I thought I was in charge here. I sent you hunting earlier anyway.
Yeah, but Blackstripe ate that squirrel.
Campion Tail studied her carefully. Pinepaw bit back a growl. She was never this indecisive.
Just let me go.
No.
What?
I'm your mentor. I decide what you do.
Pinepaw huffed. To the side of them, Teaselstalk was watching with narrowed eyes as he lumbered past. It all clicked together.
Yes, Campion Tail.
She ducked her head, privately grimacing.
Make Campion Tail look good, and she'll make you a warrior quicker.
Tomorrow, dawn patrol. And then you and the other apprentices are training.
Pinepaw mumbled a reply. Cleaning. Again. She wanted to wail.
Where's my yes, Campion Tail?
Yes, Campion Tail.
Off you go.
Campion Tail waved her tail in finality. She didn't want to get snapped at by Mallowshine again, or be lectured by Pricklepelt. She needed backup.
Apprentices help one another,
She thought, and looked towards the apprentice's den beneath the yew. Orchid Paw was sunning herself in a patch of light, feigning sleep. Pinepaw could see the nervous twitch in her tail.
Hey, Orchid Paw!
Pinepaw mewed as she approached the apprentice's den.
How to word this so she agrees?
Pinepaw chewed on the inside of her cheek.
Aha! You look like you need something to do. Can you help me tidy the nursery? I'm gonna go grab some moss and bracken. You can get all the old bedding out.
I don't know.
You'd be doing me a massive favor. I'll pay you back.
Orchid Paw paused. Her tail curled. Pinepaw could see her thinking.
Can you show me that move you used on Slight Cloud the other day?
Pinepaw blinked. What move? She struggled to remember her last training session.
Oh, of course. Easy. Done.
She nodded hastily and turned towards the camp exit.
Just leave all the moss outside the tunnel. I'll clean it up later.
Sure, Pinepaw.
She got to her paws and headed for the pool, then glanced over at her denmate and purred faintly.
Thanks.
No problem. Always happy to train with you.
With a nod at her denmate, she vanished through the tunnel and into the forest. It was getting dark by the time Pinepaw was lugging the last balls of moss back up the cliff. The plan had worked. She didn't have to listen to Mallowshine's complaints again, and Campion Tail was impressed by how studiously she had lugged the bedding up and down the cliffs. Halfway up the path, Pinepaw was getting tired. She kept pace, climbing the winding path back to camp. The stream gurgled noisily alongside her, bubbling and churning along the smooth rocks and pebbles. It was otherwise silent. Pinepaw kept going, focused on the faint outline of the larch and yew trees that made up camp. An owl hooted, and the trees rattled. Pinepaw couldn't help but jump. The darkness of the forest shifted and gave way to the flat, stony cliff tops. Camp. Home. Pinepaw's fur prickled. She put on a last, final burst of speed to get back. Once in camp, she made straight for the elder's den, bounding up the rocks and skirting around the pool to the den. Spreading the moss on the ground, she let the elders paw at it and take bits for their nests.
If you need any more, I'll get it tomorrow.
She forced down a yawn and dipped her head respectfully to the elders. Oakbark grunted in acknowledgement.
Sweet dreams.
Holly Tangle mewed, touching her graying muzzle to Pinepaw's shoulder as she slipped out the den. Pinepaw twitched her tail in reply. Perched on the edge of the pool, Pinepaw bent her head to drink. She could see the stars reflected in the rippling water, white dots flickering in the soft waves, and two moving flecks, green and red. She stopped and looked up, faint pricks of color blinking in and out as they traveled across the black sky. When she blinked, they were gone. She glanced across the camp. It was quiet. Only the breeze rustled the leaves, and then something softer, talking. It was coming from Cranestar's den.
WoodClan needs more warriors.
Kiteheart's mew was low, hissed between clenched teeth.
WoodClan are twice as large as us.
Cranestar's quiet reply came long after a moment of agonizing silence.
None of our apprentices are ready.
Then let me increase training. You've two of them on punishment. Take them off.
Pinepaw and Dandelion Paw haven't done assessments. They aren't ready to be made warriors.
We have no time for assessments.
There was silence, and Pinepaw's heart squeezed.
I'm not ready?
Well, what do you suggest?
Pinepaw could hear claws scraping against rock.
Take the warriors on your training session tonight. See if that makes you less contentious.
I'm not contentious. I'm saying we need to be more proactive in dealing with WoodClan.
I know, Kiteheart.
There was a pause, and then paw steps, and Kiteheart appeared at the mouth of the den, balanced on the rock lip with poise. She bent her head down to lick her ruffled chest fur before lightly stepping through the pool to the other side, barely making a splash.
Goat fur.
Pinepaw followed her gaze to where Goatfur was waiting by the rocks.
Are you all ready?
There was a grunt, and the warriors silently assembled by the stream. Pinepaw crossed camp, leapt the tumbling waterfall, and headed for the den without a word. It was warm inside the root cave, heady and sweet scented from the mushrooms that grew under the yew. Pinepaw peered through the darkness to spot her nest next to Dandelion Paw.
What's that about?
Dunno.
It's some new training thing Kiteheart's doing.
Chickpaw mewed from the back of the den.
Huh?
Night training.
Why? Won't they be tired after?
Warriors don't get tired.
Pinepaw nudged her with her shoulder, purring jokingly despite the hollow feeling growing inside her stomach. Extra battle training? Extra special battle training? That could only mean one thing.
She says it'll keep us sharp.
Chickpaw rolled onto her back and stretched out again, testing each leg before settling back into her nest.
That's what we're doing tomorrow. Didn't Campion tell you?
I thought it was just regular battle training.
Pinepaw circled her nest and flopped down. Sleep pulled at her bones.
No, it's like extra special battle training.
She tucked her chin on her paws and folded her tail over her flanks. She could feel Dandelion Paw's tail tip flick her hind leg, feel her warm breathing as she wriggled closer.
Maybe I'll finally beat you. I've been training real hard.
I'll have to be half dead for you to beat me.
Pinepaw nosed her ear affectionately. Dandelion Paw only grunted a reply. Pinepaw rested her head down, closed her eyes. Even as she slipped into sleep, and the camp grew quiet, Pinepaw couldn't shake the feeling that something was lurking behind her. Moonlight filtered through the trees. Pinepaw was awake, lying with her head on her paws in the apprentice's den. Orchidpaw was dozing beside her, while Baypaw and Chickpaw were curled up together, and Dandelion Paw had her back pressed against Pinepaw's as she slept. Soft murmurs came from outside, and Pinepaw pricked her ears. The warriors had been talking for ages, and she only caught hints of the conversation as the wind noisily rustled the trees. She had been awake all night. This was the night of their battle training. How could the others sleep? Pinepaw was itching to get out.
Are we ready?
Kiteheart's hard voice sounded close by, and Pinepaw jumped as Campion Tail stuck her head into the den.
Come on.
Pinepaw jabbed Dandelion Paw on the side.
Ugh, get off me!
Pinepaw was already to her paws, ready as the day she was born, shaking moss from her pelt.
Come on, you.
She stepped carefully over the apprentices and joined her mentor outside. Kiteheart was joined by Flaxstripe, Chestnut Spike, and to her delight, Tallsun.
Sure you wouldn't rather be asleep?
Flaxstripe asked as Pinepaw padded up to the patrol. His sharp, pale eyes were friendly. The bite in his voice wasn't unkind.
She's come to challenge you to a fight.
Campion Tail slapped her denmate with her tail.
Come on, no fighting in camp.
Tallsun mewed seriously. She blinked softly at Pinepaw. Dandelion Paw was shambling out of the den with the others, and Kiteheart rounded them up with a grunt at her kits.
Don't look so miserable.
She mewed, tapping Baypaw on the chin with her tail.
And stop dawdling.
She led them out of camp without another word. Baypaw lingered, glanced at Pinepaw, and then followed. A dusky haze blanketed the forest, and following a path Pinepaw knew well, the patrol broke away from the slope into the dusky trees beneath camp. Dandelion Paw was pressed close, trotting alongside her evenly, their paw steps matching as they headed towards the forest. In the pale moonlight, the forest was beautiful. The mossy floor was a pattern of silver and shadow, and the early dew glinted off leaves. White petals speckled the moss, and slender flowers had opened up to sip the cool night air. Pinepaw could hear an owl somewhere in the depths of the forests, its low call echoing through the trees. In the thickest parts of the forest, The branches clustered together so tightly that no moonlight reached the leaf rot, and the darkness seemed to move with the wind. Pinepaw breathed in, and she could taste the wild scent of the mountains far beyond clan land, tempting her. She felt a spark of energy, that familiar love for the forest, the valley, the world, running through her veins.
It's nice out tonight.
Pinepaw looked up to see Tall Sun slowing down to join her kits.
It's different,
Pinepaw answered. She felt all her senses, alive and ready, stretching out into the dark forest. She'd never left camp this late, and the urge to explore tugged at her heart. How would the river look under the moon? How far could she see across the valley, perched atop Outlook Rock in the darkness? What creatures and secrets lurked under midnight's cover?
Another day,
She promised. She could take Baypaw and Dandelion Paw out and go climb some trees, watch the moon rise and fall beneath the valley.
It's tiring.
Tall Sun nodded. She opened her mouth, and then closed it, glancing at the trees, and gave a hmm. There was a long pause until she spoke again.
Do you know when your assessments are?
I've got an assessment tomorrow.
Dandelion Paw answered, breezily scratching her ear with her hind leg. Pinepaw had to wait for her to start walking again.
That's good.
Tall Sun nodded. Another pause. Pinepaw's fur crept. Tall Sun never quite knew what to say around her kits. Pinepaw could sense her awkwardness.
And is it going okay?
There was something in her voice, like she didn't know how to ask.
Cranestar doubts us.
Pinepaw swallowed.
It's going fine.
Good.
Yeah, going fine.
Dandelion Paw answered, more genuine than Pinepaw.
Well, soon you'll be warriors then, and you can start contributing to the clan.
Tall Sun gave a final nod, looked at them both, and nodded again, and then left to catch up to the front of the patrol. Pinepaw sighed in relief. Soon the forest thinned out, and Pinepaw recognized the deep, earthy scents of the meadow. The tall, gangly trees gave way to stout bushes, junipers, and flowering clumps of yarrow, growing in unruly patches among the grass. In early Greenleaf, the whole meadow would flood, and although now the water had receded, Pinepaw could still feel the dampness beneath her paws. The river was sliding past in the distance under the white moon. The grass on the other side was swathed in thick shadow.
WoodClan territory.
Veering away, the patrol approached a dense copse of trees, with a sandy hollow behind, and Pinepaw sighed in relief at the sight, sand shining silver under the moonlight. StarClan. This was her element. The clustered cypress and willows whispered in the breeze, and Pinepaw pushed herself through the protective barrier and into the clearing. She purred as the soft sand crunched underpaw, and energy flooded her pelt as the patrol assembled around the hollow, ready. Kiteheart was sat in the center of the hollow, her thick brown pelt glistening under the moonlight.
Keep your claws sheathed. I don't need any of you getting too eager.
Pinepaw settled on the ground next to Dandelion Paw, close to the edge, and waited. Tall Sun sat behind her, tail folded over her paws. Teaselstalk joined her, and Pinepaw was suddenly relieved. She shook the thought away. She should be glad Tall Sun was helping with her apprenticeship. Kiteheart raised her tail.
We'll start with just getting used to fighting in the dark. It can be a little off-putting,
she explained, pacing around the clearing in a wide circle. Pinepaw glanced to the side. Chestnut Spike was prowling around the outside, low to the ground. His dark red pelt melded with the shadows. Had anyone noticed him? Chickpaw and Orchid Paw were listening to Kiteheart's explanation with rapt attention. Baypaw was scuffing his paws against the ground. Tall Sun leaned over.
You want to pay attention. Fighting is one of the key parts of being a warrior.
Pinepaw glanced up at her mother, finishing the sentence in her head.
It is every clan's warrior's duty to fight for the clan.
Pinepaw stifled her purr. She'd heard that advice from the day she was born.
We give everything for the clan, Pinekit.
Everything Tall Sun did was for the clan, even having kits.
You'll want to watch Kiteheart. She's light on her paws, see?
Tall Sun gestured at her paws and lifted them onto her toes, demonstrating with ease. Pinepaw copied, bouncing off her forelegs as she balanced on her tiptoes. She felt uneven.
I'll have to get the hang of it.
She grit her teeth and settled back into her haunches. Chestnut Spike was still now, hidden completely in the shadows, while Kiteheart was still talking. The deputy raised her tail, and then thunked it down as she explained some new move, something Pinepaw missed entirely.
Do you understand?
Suddenly, from the shadows, Chestnut Spike lunged. His moonlit eyes flashed green as he pounced, striking the deputy from behind. Quick as a flash, Kiteheart ducked, and rolled as he soared over her, missing by a fox length. He landed, swiveled on a thorn prick point, and swiped at the deputy with a hefty paw. Kiteheart was crouched on the sand, and her tail swept the ground as she balanced, then rocketed upwards to slam her forepaws into Chestnut Spike's chest and unbalance him. He toppled to the ground with a thud, sand showering him.
Never let your guard down in the dark.
That was fast.
Dandelion Paw breathed, her eyes wide.
Light on her paws.
Light on my paws. Got it. Be fast.
Her claws itched.
It'll take a lot of practice to get as fast as Kiteheart. She runs down to the river and back to camp every morning. I think she's part horse.
What's a horse?
Some big two-leg creature. They live in the two-leg place across the field.
He gestured with a paw towards the oak cosps. Behind it, and up the dusty two-leg path, lay the two-leg place.
They're incredibly fast. You could never outrun one.
Pinepaw felt curiosity grow inside her. When had they seen one? When had they been allowed to go all the way to the two-leg place? Campion Tail hadn't seen the need to take her any further than the two-leg path, scared of the gangly creatures in the world beyond.
You've seen one?
Oh yeah, last Leaf Bear, we had to hunt rats in monster dens. Blackstripe nearly got flattened by one of them.
Pinepaw swallowed. That was the leaf bear she was born in. She shivered, her curiosity crushed. Chestnut Spike gave her a pitying look as he approached.
Be glad you don't remember it.
Pinepaw felt her mother stiffen.
I do remember it.
She felt fur along her shoulders rise.
I was lucky to survive.
She shivered again, as if the cold in her memory had descended into the training hollow. Her heart was racing, and suddenly she realized Kiteheart was speaking again.
With something simple, like trying to judge distance in the dark.
Come on.
Campion Tail was nudging her to her paws as Pinepaw followed, willing the feeling to come back to her numb feet. What was it that Kiteheart had said? Trying to judge the distance in the dark?
Well, that's easy.
Kiteheart was glaring at her.
Well, you can go train with Chestnut Spike if you think it's so easy.
Pinepaw flushed, but didn't back down. She glanced at Chestnut Spike. He was a lot bigger than when she had last trained with him.
More like WoodClan.
She remembered, and shivered. Chestnut Spike was leading her into a dip in the ground, away from the other apprentices. They were already practicing their stances. Chickpaw was crouched, her tail sticking out like a bare branch in front of Teaselstalk. Pinepaw reached a paw forward and pushed at her haunches.
Get your tail down, you look like a duck.
Get off.
Chickpaw hissed mockingly. Pinepaw gave her a wink and trotted after Chestnut Spike. The sand was gritty under paw, littered with twigs and leaf scrap. She paused. Where had he gone? A weight slammed her. She was bowled over easily, pressed into the sand, and gasped for breath. The sand was cold against her cheek, and Pinepaw struggled against Chestnut Spike, both his forepaws pinning her to the sand. She twisted awkwardly, the side of her face flat against the ground, while her exposed belly was at the mercy of Chestnut Spike's claws.
Always pay attention.
I was.
Pinepaw braced her spine, dug her hind paws into his haunches, and pushed. No luck. He was heavy. She pushed again, this time testing how far she could lift him off of her. She had to wait. Chestnut Spike blinked, his green eyes softened, the weight around her neck released by a fraction, and she slammed her hind legs into his chest with as much force as she could manage. It was enough. Winded, he staggered backwards, and she writhed free, flipping into her front and whirling around to face him. She sprang, swiping at his forelegs, landed on the other side of him and pricked her ears.
Use your other senses.
She waited for the crunch of sand, a heavy sound that told her Chestnut Spike had turned around.
There!
She wheeled around as fast as she could, light on her toes, and caught Chestnut Spike mid-turn. He was unbalanced by her swipe. Legs crumbling, she placed a paw on his shoulder and gave a triumphant trill.
Should've paid attention.
Not bad.
Campion Tail stepped from the shadows into the moonlit sand.
Did you listen for his turn?
Yeah.
Might be difficult in a real battle, but good thinking.
She glanced at Chestnut Spike as he hauled himself into his paws.
Chestnut Spike, any thoughts?
No.
Good.
He rasped, drawing a paw over his face. His whiskers were frazzled. He looked tired. Pinepaw suddenly felt guilty for tripping him so hard.
This night training.
Chestnut Spike began, his eyes glazing over as he stared at Kiteheart prowling around Teaselstalk with her tail lashing. Chickpaw and Orchidpaw were watching him with rapt attention.
We're going to fight WoodClan soon, aren't we?
Don't think like that, Chestnut Spike. Night training is good, whether for battle or hunting.
There was a silence. Pinepaw scuffed her paw against the earth.
Of course we're going to fight WoodClan.
A quiet voice inside her head said.
No use dwelling on it. Come on, she can't hurt you pride that much.
Her jovial tone felt forced, and Pinepaw's fur prickled. On the other side of the clearing, Teaselstalk shrieked. Chestnut Spike flinched.
Yeah.
He got to his paws and brushed out his tail. Pinepaw lowered her gaze and glowered, trying to look vaguely menacing. She dropped into a crouch as Chestnut Spike rounded on her. There was a dark glint in his eyes.
Come on, then. Let's see how easy you think I am now.